Nina G is a comedian, professional speaker, author, and disability advocate. She helps bring laughter and awareness to audiences of all ages around the country. Nina G is here with us to talk about her comedy career and her new book, Stutterer Interrupted.
Hello, how are you?
We're so excited to have you here.
I'm very excited to be here.
Just a little bit of talking. What inspired you to become a comedian?
Comedy. I am a big comedy nerd, and I have been my entire life. I grew up watching stand-up comedy, and for me, I wanted to be a stand-up comic when I was 11 years old, and I started to write jokes, and I started to call up open mics to see if they allowed minors, but the dream died. And the dream died when I was about 16, 17 because I'm a person who stutters, and I didn't think somebody like me could be a stand-up comic. Mm-hmm. And so time went on, and it went on, and it went on, and about 10 years ago, I went to a conference for people who stutter, and just everything changed for me after that. And I realized how much I was holding myself back. A lot of times as a person who stutters, you are interrupted all the time. Like you'll try to get out a word and people just start guessing at it, like and people start yelling out pizza, pumpernickel, like just wait everybody, and it will come. And I realized how much I was interrupting myself in my wishes and my dreams. And when I came back from that conference, I started to make changes in my life. And within 6 months, I got on stage and told my first dirty joke.
What inspires some of the material you use for your sets?
Oh, a lot of times it's people's reaction to my stuttering. Like sometimes people think that I'm going to make fun of my stutter, which I will make fun of a lot of things about myself, but I won't make fun of that stutter. But I will make fun of people's reactions to it. Like once I had somebody do an eye roll, you know, like this. Like I was like, I can see you. Like, why are you doing that? And people give me there's this thing that when you stutter or any other kind of disability, as soon as someone meets you, they suddenly have a PhD in the thing you have. And so I get advice all the time, like slow down and breathe, as if I never thought of that. So things like that.
Okay. And you also got involved with some disability advocacy and started up a company with it too.
Well, yeah, well, there was a comedy troupe, or there is a comedy troupe called the Comedians with Disabilities Act, and it's me and some of my disabled comedian friends, and we do shows and we tour sometimes. And that was actually started by my friend Michael O'Connell, who has since passed away, but that was his dream that he made a reality.
Wow. And I mean, how many people are dealing with having to get through stuttering or figure out everything with that?
Yeah, so 1% of the adult population stutters and 3 to 4% of the kid population. And so for the adult population, it impacts us in many ways. A lot of times people think that it affects us because we should be fluent and we should strive for that fluency in terms of not stuttering. But for me, what I found is that once I embraced my stuttering and just educated people to what I always tell them is that I stutter, and they're just going to have to wait for all of the brilliant things that I have to say. And so that is what I want people to do, is to just shut up sometimes and let us talk. And for me, that is the goal for myself. And everybody has their own journey in stuttering, but we need to work on discrimination against people who stutter and letting us talk.
And that kind of inspired you for the book you wrote, correct?
Yes. Yes, a book that's available. Today is the pub date. So, yeah, thank you, Cameron. You put it right there. I appreciate that.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the book? What's it about?
So the book is about the journey to become a stand-up comic and what it's like to be a comedy nerd and to do comedy. Comedy is a very interesting thing because there's not a barrier between you and the audience. The audience is right there. And there's so many nuances in the life of a person who stutters, and those are the things that I talk about that we don't always get to explore in TV shows or in films. And just hopefully it gives a perspective of one person who stutters so that people can learn what that's like. And also to show people that you could look at something one way and it may look very negative, but if you look at it in a different way, you can turn shame into pride, and that isolation that you feel sometimes. If you find a community, like I found a community of people who stutter, that is the thing that changed everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting about us. Make sure you check her out. She's going to be at the Fresno Library at 6:30 tonight.
The Woodward
Fresno Library.
Yes.
Yes, it's a public library. She will sign this. It'll be at Woodward Park. Make sure you check it out 6:30.
Yes, thank you so much.